Right, we are on Ginsong Era Podcast, G Era Podcast, Episode 3. I go by the name of a.K.aye,
Amulit.
Lax the monk.
and we are Ginsong Era, straight from the Yay area. And our topic for this podcast is going to be what makes good collaborations, or what is the keys to making good collaborations. And before we get to that question, we're going to start off with the icebreaker question, and I have to kind of rewind it because we're on take two pretty much.
Take
but
two.
This one is going to be an interesting one. This is still in regards to collaboration, dream collaboration, but it is going to be a two-parter. The first part is, do you guys want it to be a challenging one or a really, really challenging one? Like a challenging one? Okay. All right, this probably, I'm going to make it a really, really challenging one. All right, so
All right, go.
this will have to be something that is outside your element. So
Okay.
outside your genre. Something that people wouldn't expect you to collaborate with.
Damn.
Yeah. I threw that kind of question.
Shoot. I would say metal, punk.
Give me an artist.
Oh, an artist.
Oh, I don't even
Yeah.
have one. I'm just that's how off the radar it is for me.
But metal punk.
Yeah.
But
But I'm down though. Something like when I think of that, I think about that Jay-Z and what was that? Jay-Z and
Linkin Park.
Linkin Park collab. That shit was so
Oh,
hard.
okay, yeah.
Metallica. Probably.
Yeah, you took my answer.
Slipknot.
Slipknot. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't even know you listened to them too. I'm like,
I listened to them.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
same here. Actually.
Slipknot, Metallica.
Oh man.
Even like Nickelbacks.
Nickelback. Oh
I listen
damn.
to Nickelback.
Yeah. The Fray.
I'm not gonna lie. I might have to throw somebody really, really left field, but I wouldn't mind doing a collaboration with Olivia Rodrigo.
Who's that?
She's like one of those new pop stars, but either her or Billie Eilish.
Okay.
Yeah, but some pop artists that you wouldn't expect me to work with and be like, and I feel like I could promote like produce those kind of sounds. It'll be like, okay, he's one up in his game. If like you have like somebody like that dubstep producer Rusko that does that kind of bro step kind of sound and produce for Britney Spears supposedly, I feel like I could be in that same kind of lane. So I'm like, why not? And rap on a verse on one of their songs. I'll be like, what's up?
Damn.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel ashamed now. Because I mentioned Nickelback. I listen to Nickelback.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Is that cool?
Yeah, it's okay. Some people think,
It's all good.
shame on all you guys that shame on Creed and Nickelback and Coldplay.
Oh, I fuck with
I'll
that.
even
Coldplay's
I'll
dope.
Yeah.
collab with Coldplay just to spite you guys and you too. What's up? Yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to our question. We divided this one into bullet points. We have two so far, but we're just gonna wing it. Why not? So the first thing about what makes a good collaboration, of course, is good communication. And my reason why I bring that onto the list is because it requires us to like be on the same page, and the best way to really have that kind of foundation is just having good communication on where we want to go sound wise, or if we're like intuitive about where we go with sound, it's always like, all right, like let's go do it. Let's just go for it. Even as a group, it's just like kind of weird, like just like overthinking it, and we're just like, all right, let's see what kind of energy we can contribute, and it could go any other way. And that's like the beauty of doing collaborations. Anybody can make a track, and sometimes it could go good, sometimes it could go bad, but really it's just like, how well can people work together to produce something dope? You know what I mean? And this is why we're making that episode. What do you guys got for that?
I think that there's an element with communication that I feel is that helps me understand what good collaboration is, and that's like knowing boundaries, right? Knowing my own boundaries, and then trying to understand the folks who I'm working with boundaries. Meaning, for example, right, one of my boundaries is like in context. I have uh, daytime life, right? Go to school, whatever, this and that. So I can't be up all night making music like how some folks traditionally do it. But that's one of my boundaries. I can't be up to like 3 in the morning trying to make music because I gotta wake up the next morning type of thing. So like, and just that making that clear with myself and the people who I'm collaborating with.
And you
Yeah.
know, what's the trippy part about that was I remember watching when Chopped and Screwed was pretty big and they were interviewing Paul Wall. And he was like advising like people that really wanted to get into the music industry. This thing doesn't make a lot of money. You're gonna have to have like some way to earn like income. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to figure out how to like pay the bills and stuff. And that's how like education became a thing. So it's crazy how you bring that up too. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say the same. Yeah, get to know the person you're working with, and also not being afraid to tell people what you want in your music, right? If you, especially when you're working together, because if you're not gonna say anything, you might as well just not work with each other, because the reason why you guys are collabing is to combine two minds and create something that came from the both of you, or the three of us, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And it happens organically too. It's not like
organically.
you get people that are like, hey, let's make a collab, and then nothing never happens after that, you know?
Yeah.
Again, like I feel like if people just put too much ideas, it's cool, but to see something actually come into fruition is a thing of beauty. You know what I mean? Like, how many tracks deep are you?
Damn near 40, about 40.
And I was gonna lie to the camera and say like we've made 100 tracks. You know?
But I mean, at that rate, it might as well because that's 40 within two, 2 to 3 months. The way that collaboration happens, like we got to be adaptable, right? Because we know we don't live together, so we utilize like technology, right, to work remotely, and then each other's expertise. Like Lax has his production expertise, you that's in your area too. And then sometimes I can't always go to your spot to record, so I'm gonna record my shit in my car.
Yeah, which is cool. Yeah.
For me, I believe it has to be trust because I have trust. So when I shoot my vocals, I trust that I don't need to try to perfect it on my own to give you the. I don't need to perfect my raw vocals to give to you. I know that you could tweak some shit, and then it'll just sound beautiful after.
And it goes in full circle of with like good communication because we're in the group text and we'll at least we'll be in constant communication about like key things, which is cool. We can just keep that momentum going. So
What makes a bad collaboration?
ooh, a bad collaboration, no communication, or really poor communication, or at least one where people are frustrated because of that. That's the key thing because that would be the total 180 of what good communication would be because I've even seen it whenever I work, backstage. I'm not going to name any names with artists or their tour managers. As a matter of fact, at least most tour managers I work with when I'm doing like backstage stuff is cool, but there's been some that there's always people either arriving late, something's going on, and everybody's not on the same page and they're scrambling. Where I'm just like, ooh, this is going to be a shit show. So don't be that person in the industry because one, it's just a bad look on your team. So it shows like who stays and who goes in the industry, especially if they show those kind of bad characteristics as professionals.
What else?
I think in general, yeah, I think that's what is like a downfall to collaborations if there's like like poor planning, organizational skills on both ends, on who's ever end. Like if there isn't that to begin with, like the foundation, like aside from communication, but the planning, the organizing, the commitment, the drive, right? So all those things feel like should be in alignment, and if they aren't, it'll just wiggle over. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think personality matters too.
That too.
Like you really have to be a likable person, right?
Approachable.
Coachable. And,
Coachable.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I totally agree on that. The one thing is like there's good there's like good and there's bad when it comes to people that tend to be like controlling.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I just don't like when people have that controlling personality, but they also have those insecurities about themselves if things don't go their way. And that could also like kind of end things on a sour note. And I'm not going to name names of people that I've experienced that with the past and why I bring it up in that kind of light. And you know, there's points in time where I grow frustrated because even if I try to be as constructive as I can, or you know, I was younger at the time, so I couldn't really phrase it the way I can now. I'm just like, yo, man, like you're doing a little bit too much. Give me some space, give me some air. He's like, well, you get your space forever. I'm like, okay, you know, like we want to be able to create something that is organic, natural. I don't want to work in those kind of terms because that's how like groups like defunct. You know, if you look at groups like Tribe Called Quest and how one member was controlling, the other was like, "Yo, man, you need to chill, take a step back." Those kind of dynamics could add unnecessary pressure, and we don't want that kind of stuff. You know, we want to see everybody shine. We want to see everybody at least create something as a group because the reason why I like groups is that they are more of a challenge than they are writing a song individually. Anybody could write a song individually, but as a group and everybody coming together, it's like seeing all the Power Rangers coming together to form the Megazord and you know kick ass. You know what I mean? That's a thing of beauty. Yeah,
It's easier too because all you have to do is write one verse.
that's so yeah.
Or maybe a hook as well.
That's so yeah.
And you get more creative and for some reason.
Creative.
Like, yeah.
You know what my take on it is I feel like more motivated because you know, like anybody could do a song by themselves, but sometimes you just got to be motivated. And I'm not motivated 24/7 to always write a song. You know what I mean? I just like I've showed you know Amulit like songs that I've had collecting dust for over a decade.
I think some elements that I think that make good collaborations or fruitful ones is when you're able to have fun, you know, be your authentic self, like things like that. Like, you know what I mean? When you can just shoot the shit, but still get to business and get the work done
Hmm.
at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you get the work done because you want to get the work done.
Exactly. And I think that's why we got so deep in this project in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And then how we diversify the package we're trying to deliver in podcast and then soon to be other endeavors. And
Yeah. That's, well, what do we got going on in the future?
yeah, let them know, Cat.
All right, well, we do have an EP coming out in October that you know we're still in the process of mixing and mastering. So yeah, all due to this guy right here. Yeah.
Yeah, we just made a song right today
Yeah.
before we recorded this.
Pretty sure it's gonna be put on the second album of next year because we already got 15 songs for next year. For like our, we're gonna release 3 songs. That's what I'm going. Or not 3 songs. What am I talking about? 3 albums within the span of 1 year next year.
What do you do when someone gives you a constructive feedback and it hurts you? Like, what would you do to actually combat that?
I'll show you an anecdote. So when I used to train for wrestling, one of my instructors, his reputation was he was very harsh, but he was very effective. So my thing was, you know, I wasn't really too good with getting certain like moves down and all that. And so with him, he'd be a little bit very harsh about, oh, you look like shit, like doing, you know, like that kind of talk, but much more worse. Like he's just trying to put me down. I don't know if he's trying to bring me up, but I felt like, damn, this guy really fucking hates my ass because I'm kind of an idiot, you know. But part of it made me also want to improve myself, you know. I don't really I didn't really like him to the point where I was like, like I wasn't gonna be like, fuck this guy. I had some kind of resentments towards him, but it was also because I wanted to be somebody that wanted to improve for myself, and I didn't want to appease to him, if that makes sense. But I think it was for me because I always have a sense of wanting to always complete things and not leave things half finished. And I was able to at least finish a good amount of wrestling school.
How would you guys like give someone a constructive feedback about that? Let's say
Ooh.
someone make a song and then you notice something is off. You know what it is. How would you tell that person without sounding harsh?
Like for me, I don't that doesn't happen as off that doesn't that's rare for me because of
Yeah.
like how early I am on my journey. But
I mean, it doesn't have to be with music.
yeah, in general, like the way I approach constructive feedback for folks, especially if I know they're trying, is I ask a question first, like
Mm.
how do you feel about that da da da? Do you and then also ask, can I can I give you some input
Okay, okay.
instead of just like
Yeah,
blurting it? Because I'm used to in the culture I grew up in, right? I'm used to folks that this wrong, bantering, bop bop bop. And so, but I've grown a tough skin for that shit. I could either laugh it off, I could brush it off, I could yeah,
that's my nana.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so, but then understanding the next generation, right? And I don't want to pass down any per se generational trauma or whatever. I'm gonna switch up the mode. I'm gonna try to make my way in a non-invasive way.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Okay, kind of like soften it up a little bit.
Yeah, but the way I give it to you, and then if you really sit on it, you're gonna be like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna throw the whole pie at you.
Um, there's a format that I follow that I've learned being in different community or like organizations, and it's called. I've come to understand it as what's called the sandwich evaluation. But the format is you point at something that you like about, you know, what they're sharing with you, followed by something that they can work on. But you can either and the point is you end it on a good note just to make it very constructive. It's like it's great, it has a lot of potential, but yeah, it just definitely needs a lot more work. It just has those weaknesses and you just gotta turn them into strengths. I mean, say, okay, I like the cadence of
I mean, with the food wise, what sandwich would that method be?
probably if I'm thinking pastrami sandwich.
Why? Why?
Why pastrami?
Pastrami's so good, man.
Okay, okay.
But I know you were asking.
No, that's an Oreo cookie.
That's an Oreo.
Yeah. Top, the cookie, the cream, and back to the cookie.
But all it is,
Yeah.
And then you dunk it in milk.
Yee! And that's you dunk it in the milk
That's a collaboration.
once the person actually executes on that constructive.
Yeah.
Boom.
but I think the key word to making it constructive is just one, just not putting them down and saying, "Oh man, this is terrible" or "This sucks." You don't want to put somebody down like that. You don't want to crush them like that. Even if you do feel like that, it's like, come on, man. What can you do to help them like not suck? You know what I mean? That's the thing.
Yeah, for me, dude, I just kind of like say I do the same thing, but I don't give them constructive feedback and expand on that constructive feedback. I just give them a hint, like plant a seed. Okay, like for example, someone was like making a sculpture or something, like let's say like a plant sculpture, and then I don't like the pot, and I'll just be like, "Damn, that's a nice plant. I like the way you put the soil and the fertilizer, and the plant looks pretty." And then I go to the constructive feedback and be like, "But that pot though, I'm not sure about it, but the plant's good." And then I'll just end it at that. It gives them something to think about. That's kind of like playing mind games. I don't know. That's just probably how I am. But
That makes sense.
Yeah. But what would be the fine lines to tell somebody, man, this should not come into existence? Okay, so I know it sounds kind of harsh, but if they make something that's just, messed up, FUBAR, fucked up beyond repair, where you want to have the heart to tell them, I don't know if you can go anywhere with this. What would be that? What would be that? That tone that sets.
What are you trying to say? Like,
Like if it's something,
it's so bad that you don't want to be a part of it, or like just,
but
or
it's
just like,
you just gotta tell them like, I don't know, dude. This can't see the day.
okay, you just don't believe in what they did, what they've created or done.
Yeah, and you don't want to crush the experience.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
There's a lot of for that in that type of scenario. There's a lot of things to take into consideration. Like, there's a lot, right? Like, you got to
Yeah.
understand the context of what this thing is being produced for.
And how hard that person work on that thing.
Yeah, the relationship between myself and this person. Like, if it's some person like that's doing harm to, like, you know what I mean? Like, just doing some, like, a shady person, and I know that they're doing shady. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do I want to really try to help this person or what? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Or if it's someone I care about and I know that this shit, like, that they're doing, it's gonna be a detriment to, like, everyone else around and be like, hey, yo, what, I think I see something here. Want to take a look at it? Yeah, like, for example, like a shady person who's just trying to get over on folks and they're presenting it to me. I'm not even gonna fuck with it to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like, I'm not even gonna, like.
Yeah,
But if it's
waste
like,
your energy. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Yeah.
but I'm still gonna be mindful of, what's around me. But, like, they're trying to. But if it's someone I care about and they're trying to, I'm gonna still go with my approach. I'm gonna, like, do you want to know? Like, do you want to know? Like, my transparent answer, like, and then if they're ready for it, they're ready for it.
I know for me, something that portrays something that just dehumanizes somebody. I feel like, nah, like I can't get behind that. If their message is something that just provokes negativity, not even if like they're just portraying negativity, or was it self-deprecation, any of those kind of things, self-harm, there's like certain ways to be like, I want to find a way out of it, but there's some people that do it to like garner pity or just dig themselves in a deeper hole. It's like, I don't know if I could get behind those kind of things, you know what I mean? Because it kind of brings me into a dark place hearing it. So I'm like I wouldn't even want to produce tracks like that myself. That's why I'm at that point where I'm like, I need to write things that are about self-affirmation, if not for myself, but for everybody else, because as people that write lyrics, produce music, we're also influencing people as well. And I mean, we don't have to be preachy, but we just gotta like speak our truths, and this is why we make that music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Break.
Yep, we're gonna take 5. And we're back, and we're back, and we're back. What's up, everybody? All right, so continuing off of good collaborations, Lex, what do you think is also a key to making a good collaboration that we haven't covered yet?
Being on the same page. Did we cover that?
I feel like we cover it on some more. Like, what is your definition of that exactly?
Just ties back to what you said, right? Getting to know the people you're working with, and actually being comfortable around them too. Like, you're able to be yourself around them, and you all agree to the goals that you set to each other, right? Like, for us, we have the same goal. We're working together because we all want that goal, which is G-Era. We're gonna expand this shit. We're gonna make merch. We're gonna do workshops and help out the community. Yep. And we all align. We all agree to that same goal.
We all have those same core values.
Yes, and I think we all also have a mutual understanding of where we're gonna put our strengths into play to achieve these goals. And I think it's pretty evident that we understand where we all, put the work in. Like, I know Lax puts the work in with the youth, making music damn near full time, if that's safe to say. You know what I mean? I know you're likewise, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm pretty much the same for me, except it's just I'm working with different demographics, but I'm always trying to do community building. So what I'm trying to say to bring in a context for the workshops is like I have to put myself in these spaces, these professional spaces, to try to get these opportunities, so then we could be in front of more audience. That I'm typically not making music with, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, like I had to get on the commission so that I could know what's coming in to apply for, and then we make our way in. You know what I'm saying?
And that's good, because all of us don't have, like, we all have our own kind of specialties. Beside music, right? For you are into like sound design and all that. I mean, what do you call this? Graphic design, visuals, and graffiti, or whatever you do nowadays.
I mean, you know, I'm connected with the culture, and I'm also working in education.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm also like picking up on like events and learning how to
and connections. You know what, dude? I have to praise you for your connections.
Yeah,
like, you know a lot of people.
So that's how we landed the Music City gig, right? With you putting yourself in those spaces, which lines us up for all this work that we're accumulating. We have something to deliver. As same concept, right? Networking. I mean, I think it's the same goes for you as being in all the spaces you are. There's still opportunity to plug in the G era. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna manifest like strong.
That's like one of my key skills is like networking. I think that's something we should make a episode on.
I mean, that's an element in the collaboration process, right? The way I see it, it's the surface. It's like one of the first layers.
Yeah, one of the first steps, right?
Yeah, you just gotta put yourself in these split. Aside from doing the online shit, like you gotta physically go play. Like, for example, you go to these gigs, even though it might be compensated or not, and then you do your networking, the talking, the searching, the looking. So it's also a mindset. You gotta be, okay, now it's time to like branch out.
I think also going out there, not a lot of people have the courage to actually go out there and watch by themselves, because
there's anxieties.
I think that's only in the beginning, in my opinion. As soon as you kind of like get used to bringing yourself out there, it's like just walking outside.
And especially after we accumulate all these tracks, like for me personally, I feel I walk around with confidence, like not with my chest out, but I go to places ready to network because I know we got some shit in the clip, you know what I mean? And it's like it's in the chamber, and I'm so like once I hear a slight hint of like an opportunity, I'm in the conversation. I plug myself in smoothly, you know.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, you know how to plug yourself in. You do. You do. I mean, that's how we met, because you plugged yourself in, remember?
Yeah, man, this is dope. Okay, I didn't touch on the story, right? So after we met at Rock the School Bells, that's when I got into the Juvenile Justice Delinquency Prevention Commission, JJDPC. And I was doing my research on legislation where they were closing the youth prisons in California, which means allocated funding would go to local institutions, like, for example, San Mateo Juvenile Hall, San Mateo County Juvenile Hall. Okay. They got allocated funding, and I knew, and I advocated in these meetings, like, I know an organization, and particularly a person that works with youth to make beats. Can we set something up to have this programming? Set that meeting up. I didn't show up to that meeting though, right? I was
dude. I was expecting you.
I know. I slipped up, but it still fell through, right?
It's still.
So it's a matter of like we said earlier, how we network. And for me to get to that networking part, I had to I had trust in the work.
Okay.
And I was already confident in I already made the commission, right? So they knew what I was about, and it just happened. It happened, right? I don't know the paperwork, but.
Yeah, it did.
It happened, right? And now look what's happening. Boom.
Making it happen.
And then we got this other one through Behavioral Health Commission, where we're gonna be doing a workshop this week with some Health Right 360, Asian American Recovery Services, Samoan Solutions, G Era, beat making for youth, right? All through networking, collaboration. So I think even in collaboration, it's like, it doesn't have to be with folks that you always like would kick it with every day, or you have. It's like, what's the commonalities
Oh yeah.
right? So the commonality I think I see here with the collaborations that G-Era is doing with the community and with amongst ourselves is a service.
Service.
Oh yeah.
Service to the community.
I mean, from the community or by the community.
Yeah, for
the community.
for us by us.
Oh, yeah. That's the motto right there.
I think it's only gonna get better from here.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the only direction we could go is forward at this point. You know, like I mean, you know, it's a funny thing because I told you guys I actually put us in for to perform on October 19th for Copwell Gardens, and I think the keywords I threw was we are pushing ourselves progressively through beats and lyrics. You know what I mean? I made that to make it sound like a very interesting entendre, aside from just like in regards to where we're going sound wise, which is we're always pushing for something different. Ours is to question the status quo, you know, question the status quo, but also complacency, because we're following our own format. We're not following anybody else's format, and we're going by our terms collectively as a group, and why we all like are in sync with each other as a group too. So when it comes to liaisons, I guess what is the sense of like, I guess like people that you wouldn't do? I mean, I don't know if this is gonna sound repetitive, but at least what would be your limit in regards to like somebody you wouldn't want to like at least collab with, or you see a red flag in?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Personality for me, for sure.
I know for me it's ego.
It's ego. Yeah.
Like there's the right amount of ego, because I'm not saying all ego is bad. It was always the key to have confidence, but if you're like really about yourself, but you're not, you're just kind of disconnected from reality. I'm just like, they could probably bring the best kind of you know, music out there, but I'm like, nah. You know,
Because that personality, when you have a bad personality, bro, that shit spreads. And if you hang out with that person the whole entire time and you learn how to grow, you get brainwashed by his toxic personality,
Yeah.
and it becomes normal to you, and so you start doing it to other people.
yeah, mine's is like I just get like, there's like people that kind of make me tap into my introvertedness, because that's how I feel at times. If I'm like quiet into myself, that's where I'm just gonna kind of like recoup and be like, I don't know if I am in the right kind of space, you know what I mean? And that's where I'll kind of like just kind of recoup, just kind of have myself more reserved, you know. And I'll feel like I'm not myself if I'm in that kind of place either, you know.
Yeah.
So
I think one of the things for me, which is like it's unseen, like meaning like I don't necessarily have to know what this person is, like their whole history, but I kind of go with, if that's the case, I kind of go with intuition. Like, yeah, am I gonna be exploited? Does this person do other people shady? Like, I don't want to be associated with that type of thing. And it's like, not that I refuse, it's just I don't entertain any kind of like talks to like, oh, let's do this. So I keep the circle
So
really.
you keep the distance.
I keep distance, and the circle I you know, who I fuck with, or excuse my language, it's a close circle. Like musically, small circle. Organizing with, you know what I mean, small circle.
yeah, I know musically, I like how there's like motivated people, but I've also tested the waters on how they are personally. There are some people that I like certain things about their personality where I kind of keep them at a distance, because I know I'll feel like, all right, I'm checked out, man. All right, I want to just like, I'm chill at the moment, you know, those kind of things. Like, for me, as much as I want to show face to like even events, because that's my thing, is I always like to network with people. I always like to meet people, be out in the scene. There's also people that are like, have a certain kind of energy that I just cannot really be with him. Yeah. But that's how you know, like, is this person worth collaborating with? But it's cool if they reach out to you and you're like, hey, you want to hop on the track? I'll be like, sure, you know. There's certain people you just got to keep at bay. It's all about guarding your energy. Good collaborations. What's like? What are some highlights that you guys had? And here's gonna be the subcontext is outside of G era, people you've worked with outside of G era that you found joys like doing. So this is just working with people in a creative kind of capacity, right? Be it, if not music, this could also apply to doing workshops, doing many things that we're doing now collectively, but outside of the group.
I'm gonna kick it off.
Yeah, go for it.
This is still musically. I'm gonna shout out my comrade Rosella.
There you go. I had a feeling.
Just because, you know what I mean, I rock with you, in you know, in our organizing and the music, and so shout out to Lax with our Straight MF Ballin' track that we performed live at Island Fiesta at Westmore High School. Man, that crowd was like I would say like a few hundred, and then we rocked that stage, man. And what the hell was the question again?
What are your favorite collaborations?
That's one of my favorite collaborations because I know my boy. He's just a genuine dude.
Yeah, he's a cool dude
for the people, and so that's what I said. Like, see, it don't even gotta be the music. It's coincidentally the music is that medium where we just even bonded even tighter.
Yeah.
And so I'm just grateful. You know what I'm saying? The fact that we get to do that and then create something for the legacy, and so we could always go back to it. I'm going to recite one of his bars. He said, "Come and see it live from the depths of despair, American nightmare, choke from polluted air, from whatever billionaire, bound to mark a price every time we inhale the last grain of rice. Man, it must be nice not to drown inside of debt."
Yeah.
Or drown inside of debt. I forgot the bar, but see, that was about a good 8, right?
Yeah, I mean, because the Straight Ballin' song, right?
Straight Ballin', yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember hearing it and I was like, man, dude, that's Rosella? Like, okay, like, when can we get him on a track, you know?
So his delivery on that track was crazy too.
Yeah, so I say that to say that, hey, G, we waiting on you, man. We got something lined up for you, bro.
We got a hot plate waiting for you.
Yep, it's ready, man. All right, so if we were DX or the Wolf Pack or NWO, who would you be, Lax?
You first.
Me first? Cap, you first.
Rochambeau.
Ooh.
Choose a number between 1 and 2.
Ooh, 1 and 2?
Or 1 and 2, yeah.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
1.5.
1.5 minus 0.5 would be 1.
It was that hard, huh?
Now I'll be Razor Ramon, or I think he went when he was in the Wolf Pack. No, I'll take that back. Rewind, take that back. I'm gonna be Sting from the Wolf Pack.
Ooh, okay.
The red and black.
Red and black, okay.
Oh, with a baseball bat, bro, coming from the top.
We talking are we talking factions? We talking wrestlers or what?
Wrestlers, cause like I'm gonna give you an explanation. I'm the type in our group or just in any group like I always said, I always ride, right? Mm-hmm. But like I'm gonna come from the cuts.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna ever like pop off and cause detriment for the group, but I will emerge from the shadows if need be. So that's kind of like why I picked Sting. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. I would be like I'd be like either like Shawn Michaels or Triple H and DX.
Oh, I remember
Okay.
Triple H. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd be, because I feel like I'd be a mouthpiece. I would talk my smack like on the mic too, and be kind of unapologetic about it. But it's funny too because like if I make that heel turn, I berate the crowd, just kind of rough them up a little bit just to make sure they're not bored. I wouldn't mind doing that, It's all a part of the show, and when you get a crowd, you want them in on the show. You want them to have as much fun as possible. So why not,
I'll be Rey Mysterio. I don't watch wrestling.
Yeah. I'm like a full disclosure.
Ray
Wait,
Mysterio?
was he in LWO? Did it recruit him in
He
the
was in
Wolfpack?
LWO, I believe.
LWO, right?
Yeah.
Oh, with what's the other guy? What's the other dude's name? The one that said La Raza.
Oh, that's Eddie Guerrero.
And the Guerrero.
No,
yeah.
and then no, there was another dude. Remember when he was in NWO, the bald dude,
Conan.
Conan.
Yeah.
He was the yoked one. He was like
Yeah, he looked like straight up Cholo too, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Undertaker.
Undertaker,
too.
Booker T.
Booker T.
Booker T.
Man.
But yeah, man, like,
Yeah.
I think Booker. You know what's funny is I've actually met Booker T, and that guy is. Nah, he's like somebody that's like knowledgeable too, man. I kind of choked up because he's like, who wants to get in the ring? I wanted to, but I'm like, I don't want to make myself look like a fool, you know. But that's for like another story.
Where we at?
All right, break.
Hey, are these fire?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we live, pal.
Live.
All right.
Talk about haters, bro. What you gonna say?
All right.
How do you avoid haters, and how do you distance yourself from haters?
I believe that is going to be our thing. How do we deal with haters? Starting with Emery.
The way I deal with it personally is I just brush it off. Like I laugh it off. You know, like if a hater, for example, is like hating on the content, the music that we're putting out, whether it be serious or like playing around, I still laugh it off. Like, cause I understand deep down, like, no, it took my inner depth to externalize all this, right? To collaborate with folks. To, you know what I mean? There's levels to it, and then
There's
you got
levels
someone
to
who
it.
doesn't do it,
Yeah.
throw in their 2 cents, and it's like if it's negative, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to me at this point, really.
Yeah. Because anything that a hater would say would always reflect back to them, right? Let's say
That's what I'm saying.
you put out a content and you're so proud of it, and all of a sudden you have a comment saying, "Oh, this is trash because blah blah blah," and it reflects back to them because it tells me that maybe your life sucks right now. What have you accomplished, right? Maybe you just don't like your life, and the way you were raised is not. It doesn't really, like, it's not a good way to raise a child or some shit.
Yeah.
And when I check their page out, right? Let's say you're talking shit on my YouTube page. Check their page out. You haven't done shit. Like, look at me. I'm trying to work over here, pursuing what I want to do. I have a goal, and right now you're talking shit, but you can't back it up. That you don't have anything going on in your life. Like, so anything a hater would say, it just always reflects back to them. And this ties into the personality, right? With collaborating with people. And so if you're a hater, your personality definitely sucks. So you can't collaborate with anybody.
You know what's funny is, it also could be the right sign that you're doing something right.
That too. That's what I was gonna say as you were talking.
You know, like
They're like
think about it.
envious of like what you're doing. So
Yeah.
It's like they what's that one P-Lo hook? They wanted to see me doing bad, but I'm good.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
What song was that? Put me
That-
in some or something?
No, that's a different song. But that's what the hook goes. They wanted to see me doing bad, but I'm good. And I think that's the one with Larry June. That's that.
Okay.
But that'd be another dope collab actually. Larry June
Ooh.
and P-Lo.
If we can make that happen, that would
Let's
be
make
so
that-
awesome.
I feel like we would make a collab with La Russell before we get them, either of them two or no. I don't know, whoever we get first, man.
Yeah.
Shoot. Or Rubio Barra.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just naming names. Squad Dad.
that's the thing with collabs for me too. Is like I'm at the point where like I've tried to reach out once or twice, but I'm at the point where I think it'll happen organically at
It
this
will
point.
happen organically for sure.
At like this point, like I think
Yeah.
we got a solid foundation, like a solid grassroots foundation between us. I think that whatever we put out next it'll be like
Yeah.
folks would reach out.
We're gonna let the action talk. Bro.
Yeah, we won't have necessarily
Everything
to
will
reach
talk
out
for us.
Yeah,
As of now, we're creating our own lane, pretty much. So that's
what it is.
the most important part, because we're at that point where nobody's creating that lane for us. We're doing it, and all those people that are gonna shoot all those negative comments keep feeding us that energy.
Man, that gatekeeping, I'm gonna address this now. All that gatekeeping too, man, I'm gonna kick down them gates. I'm telling you.
What do you mean, gatekeeping?
Oh, okay.
You could expound. You could expound on the gatekeeping.
So, we're not going to name any names because we know who you are, gatekeepers. Now, we could talk about the major ones, the small player ones.
Okay, so what's a gatekeeper?
Okay, so, side note, gatekeepers are people that are in the scene, they know who they are, that could be established as tastemakers. They're basically the people that make the big push for certain artists, but, keyword is certain. They push for a certain sound, but also it leaves space for complacency. It leaves something that could hurt the scene more than does well, if that makes sense. And because of that, it kills the scene at the same time. It could also build mistrust, but you've had some of the biggest gatekeepers in hip-hop that also use this as a way for quote-unquote human trafficking or other crimes against humanity. And we're not going to cover those kind of things because the other media, tabloids, whatever, cover that, and we're not here to glorify that. No, thank you. But we're here to establish how unhealthy those kind of mentalities are. We're not here to police it. We're just here to be those kind of artists that are going the punk rock route, the DIY route, and trying to build our own lane and seeing who can fuck with us. You know what I mean? And that's how I say my piece.
Yeah, I think it's also, how do I say this? What I pull from it, it's like, let's just say there's an organization or a person with that's pushing a line, right? Whether it be pushing for community building or whatever, and then providing certain resources, but making it tailored in a way that only it could be made accessible to certain
people.
Yeah, and we're talking about inclusivity now.
Yeah,
right.
So they preach inclusivity.
Right. It's like saying like you're making something attainable, saying it's attainable for the betterment of like a community or whatever, but to be able to attain it, is it realistic for everybody?
Nah.
Even though it's being preached that it's for like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's like a form of gatekeeping without the harsh connotation. Yeah. But I know there is a harsher connotation for it.
That's like giving out free parking, but only employees can park.
Exactly.
That says free parking.
Exactly. That's you just narrowed it down right there.
But no, I mean, like those kind of things like hurt the scene, and I mean, I'm gonna say this. This is a hot take on my end. Yeah. You know how people say hip hop is dead? Yeah. I feel like that's because it's the gatekeeper's fault. Yeah. You know.
You know what I think? I think it's also about money.
That too. Yeah. Yeah.
That's when the industry is. That's where the shades are from the industry versus the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They monopolize it or monetize it.
Yeah. And where they're trying to capitalize on those kind of ideologies and then pushing that agenda through hip hop. Now, the thing is, hip hop is always going to constantly fluctuate, but it's about how we push that kind of music and what kind of because overall there's also a way to influence the crowd, and it's become really toxic for the most part. And I'm like, bro, like we gotta like push it in a different direction. Like I'm not a big fan of even though I kind of use this term as alternative hip hop, because I like it just because it sounds edgy, I'm not gonna lie, but I also hate the fact that why does it have to be alternative? You know, why can't it just be hip hop? You know, I mean, like that's like saying, okay, why do we have to specify ourselves as hip hop? Why can't we just call ourselves music? You know what I mean? But apparently people have to put things in a label just to make it simple for them, and it's like, all right, well we'll have to dumb it down for y'all, you know?
Yeah. No, don't you think it's about the audience though? Like when you specify a genre, like let's say I'm an audience and I just like Lil Uzi or something, and what do you call that genre?
I mean, it is hip hop. He is expressing himself. I still call it hip hop, you know, but some people want to be like, oh, it's trap. It's like, okay, sure. You can call it trap. Some people that are hip hop purists are going to be like, oh, Little Uzi Vert is trash. It's all about the 90s, Wu-Tang, all these, you know, like Onyx, those kind of artists with like breaks and all that. I'm like, that's your era, man. Like, that's cool. Stick to your time frame. If that's all you, that's cool. But there's gonna be people that mess with Playboy Cardi and Ben Carson or Ken Carson, Ken Carson. And older generation folks don't know who it is, but it's like, okay, this is the purpose of working in music venues and knowing who's hot, like amongst these kids, you know, like where they drag their parents to the nosebleeds to see them live because they really like their music. So I'm like, okay, they're making their money some way somehow. That's their lane. That's cool. Even though some people are gonna be like, oh no, it's not hip hop. It's like, whatever, you know. They're expressing themselves. They're useful. I might not. And this is where I'm gonna clear the air. Like one thing I don't like with a lot of hip hop acts, I don't mind the beats, I don't mind the sounds, but the one thing I really hate is when they do live ad-libbing.
Like what?
So you know people that rap over their lyrics,
Yeah.
but not even rap over their lyrics. They just like they do punches on their like lyrics, and I'm like, bruh.
I did not know people do that.
I've seen that.
Unfortunately, I have the luxury of seeing that, and I'm probably gonna get like in trouble if they ever catch me saying this. But whatever, you know. I hate that shit so much.
What is it about it? Like I understand it, but what is the distaste in it? Like for me, like when I've seen it, I can't freaking. It takes away from the experience of it being live.
Yeah.
Because now you're performing your lyrics, you re-record it. Like it makes me feel like you don't remember your lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. They want to see their favorite artist, but okay. I mean it in the most constructive way possible, where anybody could pull that kind of stuff off. You know, they're just gonna highlight their lyrics. That's cool. They're there for them. That's cool. But it kind of cheapens the value of performance and making it look like anybody could do it. And it's just gonna like cause people to like flood the market. And this is where you're gonna bring in like I don't know if you know names like Mabu or all these other kids that talk about, you know, like doing crime, and they look like they live like well off. You know what I mean? And I'm like, bruh, we don't want to get people like this in. This is why we needed that one rap civil war, just to be like, all right, there's too much people trying to, you know, get in on it. We need to put a stop to it. That was the much needed victory. But I'm also saying at what cost. You know what I mean? But with that being said, it's just like what I'm trying to get at is like what I feel is like what hip hop is rooted in, which is honest expression, and how we still need to keep that as the main thing. You know what I mean? Because there are still kids that are about that life that talk about that stuff. Mm-hmm. The sad part is they use that, you know, like the courts use it against them as evidence because, yeah, like they've used it against them. It's like, so you did this according to your song.
Back then, I think now they stopped doing that. Like,
Yeah. Is it gonna be like possible hearsay? You know?
Yeah, I see that part of it too. I think it does have the power to also influence other people who don't necessarily do that, but that could understand through the lyrics.
Yeah.
To you know, for them to start doing it too, right? I think that's the negative part of it. But I think there is a positive side of it, meaning that this person is trying to, even if they're glorifying it, right? Oh, yeah. And they're doing something constructive at the time being of recording it, even if it may be something like that, if the subject of that nature, which is like for them.
For themselves.
For them,
as a
right? For them,
therapeutic
just that
purpose
part,
and
you know what I'm saying? Even
personal-
though, right, your personal art creativity, but
Expression,
there is negative there could be negative implications of it. And then I think that's one of the things I know for me. That's why when I got into writing and music is the element of social justice, right? Because of having already lived through all of that shit without even having to rap about it. Like I understand that I don't need to do that because of what it could perpetuate, right? And I think there's way more power in talking about the positive stuff and trying to inspire and uplift people than, like, you know what I mean, going on going down a negative spiral.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, there's a certain extent of like gangster rap that I could at least like agree with. Or if they're talking about congregation, they got to look out for the homies. Bro, I like when people speak on that behalf. I just don't like the whole fact that if this is just them like being vindictive and stuff, I'm like, oh man, you know, like, do you regret what you did? You know, like that's what I want to know. You know.
There's also something too I noticed, and this is just an assumption, or this is a theory I think that I'm thinking, is that I'm not saying that's what they do to rap. They rap. I'm not saying that they make that kind of music because of this, but I will say that I think that when you make that kind of music with, like, you know, the negative stuff, like, you know, whatever, crime, violence, misogyny, all that, it sells.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? Like you'll get noticed by like organization or like labels or whatever, and they'll try to capitalize on that because they know that the public will eat that shit up.
Yeah. But there's like, yeah, I mean, who's like somebody I could think of is like that stupid young dude, that one a.K.aye rapper dude, and him talking about like, you know, having to look out for his homies, never snitching on any of them, looking out for them, and that's a man though. I'm like, okay, you know what? You're talking about looking out for your folks. That's cool, you know. It's just, I just can't get behind like things that perpetuate like homicide rates, gang violence, all that stuff, you know. It's just like, man, like there's so much animosity in the world. I don't want to be the contributor of that, you know. I just want to be like that Bob Marley dude that's like talking about healing the world and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean that's what we do in this G era, man. We're here to pretty much like just provide that medicine through music, man. And that's why we collaborate.
Brought to you by
Jesus. And Doritos, the American kind. And these ube crackers right here. Oh, they really are like buttercream. Have you tried these yet? Bruh, these are smacking right here. Should do a review for the likes, man. For the seal out.
The seal out.
Yeah.
I want to listen to that real quick. Now I try.
Yeah, now I feel it. I guess like we good. Should we end it right here?
We went deep.
We went deep.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's our time. Y'all have a good one. Peace.